Rev up your engines!
Well, you think Ford made a bad bet on electric vehicles? I kind of agree with that. They are now losing $44,000 on every electric vehicle they are making. That is not sustainable. They can have all the political horse manure in the world. We're all going to be driving electric cars. Well, guess what? People don't want to buy them. They're not ready for prime time. And so Ford is realizing, now they're trying to switch to hybrid cars because they can see people are more accepting of hybrid cars. They don't have the main problem of fully electric cars, which is range anxiety. Get an electric car, runs out of power, you're screwed. You can't jump start and go. You got to recharge it. There's no chargers all over the place, right? Let's say it's a plug-in hybrid. Maybe you can go 45 miles on electricity. Then the motor turns on. Then you can drive another 500-600 miles, so you really don't care, right? It just proves that electric battery cars are not ready for prime time. And so now they're all going to go in Toyota's way and going for the hybrid. And Ford has lost a fortune this year. They're expected to lose $5 billion in their electric car business. You can't sustain those kinds of losses over time. I know people who work at dealerships and they tell me, Scotty, we tell them, don't send us any more electric cars from the manufacturer. We got to get rid of the ones we have. I just saw one where the electric car was discounted $30,000 because it was a 2023 model. The 2025s are out now. So it's a 2-year-old model. It's a new car. Nobody bought it. But they can't get rid of the stupid things. Nobody wants them. They're overpriced. They have too many problems. And hey, it's time that somebody pulls the plug on this electric car. Nonsense. Well, if you remember a few years ago, the Model Y Tesla was the largest selling model in the world. Well, guess what? Now the Model Y Tesla has dropped from the top 20. A certain amount of people want to buy these things, electric cars. Once they buy them, where's your market going to come from? And to make things worse, something like over 50% of the people that bought them, when they get rid of them, they don't even buy an electric car. They go back to a gasoline car. They don't like the hassle of electric cars. So there isn't much hope on them to continue to sell more and more Model Ys. They're expensive, right? The people that bought them, 50% of them say, hey, we're not going to buy another electric car. We're going to go out and buy gasoline or a diesel car now. We didn't like the inconvenience of having an electric car. And I've met a lot of people like that. Almost everybody I met with an electric car said, well, we didn't buy it. We leased it. When the lease is up, we'll go to a gasoline car or maybe a hybrid, but not a fully electric car because it's too much hassle for people. So, hey, the fact that the Model Y isn't even in the top 20 now, it says something. And the fact that they're deep discounting all the electric cars, for example, Acura slashed nearly $30,000 off 2024 ZDX models. They got to slice that much off. They give bonuses, and if you have a competitor's electric car and then you get rid of that and buy our electric car, they give you another few $1,000s. Well, if they're willing to slash that kind of money, $30,000 off a 2024 electric Acura, that's telling you they can't give these things away. To slash them that much, because they got to get them out there. They got to get them off the showroom floors. Those are 2024s. The 2025s have been out for a while now. And Acura makes generally pretty good cars, Honda, right? It's not ready for this stuff. And interesting enough, the Acura, of course, Honda owns Acura. The Acura is basically a GM-based vehicle. They don't make their own. Honda didn't make their own electric cars. They're partnering with GM, so it's GM Ultium battery and all this stuff on it. So it's not really a Honda or an Acura anyway. And it's probably one of the reasons they got a deep discount, because most people that are going to spend that kind of money aren't stupid. They'll do a little research and say, well, this isn't really a Honda product. This is a GM product. Why would I pay that much money for one of their things? I stopped buying their cars years ago. The people who like Hondas would find out really fast, hey, that's not really a Honda. I'm not going to buy it. And obviously they aren't if they got to slash them $30,000 to get them off the market. Finally, common sense comes to the forefront. I've said this for years, and now many people agree that many drivers hate the technology in their cars. Too much technology. Some things people like, but some it's like, do I really need that crap? I'm paying for this stuff, and then when it breaks, it costs a fortune to fix? Well, J.D. Power did a study of 81,000 drivers, and they found out that there's a whole lot of these tech features that people don't like, and they don't use and find them annoying. Things like facial recognition, fingerprint reader, and interior gestures. The people don't like these controls. One, they find them annoying, but two, they don't work a lot of the time. Interior gesture systems are problematic. They have 43.4 problems per 100 vehicles. So 43.4% of those systems have problems. And these are relatively new cars, right? That's new stuff, so they're not old at all, and they don't work right. Kind of like Tesla's full self-driving. It isn't. They say it is. They pay extra money for it, but it really doesn't do what it says it does. Now, the automakers, they're spending millions of dollars to bring all this crap to the forefront, but then people are like, I really don't want that. I find it annoying, and I mean, if 43% of it doesn't even work off the bat, that kind of tells you, why would you pay for something that doesn't even work? They're solving problems that don't really exist, and I agree entirely. Too much of this technological nonsense. I even take it as far as AI. You know, AI is the big tech thing now, but the bubble's starting to break. The AI companies are starting to lose money hand over fist, right? If you really think about it, AI is called artificial intelligence, and I think it's named correctly, because it's artificial. It's not real. You can look stuff up on AI and you will get ridiculous ones. I looked up my wife one time and said she was a mechanic. She knows to put gas in the car. That's it. She's not a mechanic, but AI said she was, right? Garbage in, garbage out. It's the same thing with all the technology in cars. And not only, it might not work right in the beginning, you don't really need it, but when this crap breaks down, whew, too much technology. Well, I'm always warning you about Chrysler, Stellantis lack of quality. Well, here's a woman. Boy, what a lesson she got. She bought a brand new Jeep, and it broke down again and again and again. After 6 weeks, they were driving on vacation, and one of the air shocks broke and he couldn't drive it because it sunk down on the side, right? This was a brand new 2024 Jeep 4x4 hybrid. So they had to have it towed into the dealer to get the airbag fixed. Not the airbag for your face, but the airbag for the suspension in the back because it was sitting to one side. It took them 2 weeks to get it back. They were on vacation, so they rented a car, but they had it shipped back and they had to pay for the shipping. They had a pop when they were driving and they found out the airbag broke, right? So 2 weeks later, they get it back. So they rented an RV and then they had the Jeep shipped back to their house. Well, but that wasn't the end of it. They did ship it back. And they saw that it had new airbags left and right. They replaced both of them, right? But then, sadly enough, 2 days later, we went to drive the car, heard another pop. We looked and the right rear airbag popped again. Okay, they had new ones put on and they broke again. Obviously, they got problems with these things, right? It's a brand new vehicle. 6 weeks it broke. Then they fixed it. And 2 days later, one of the ones they replaced broke again. Obviously, they're using crap parts, which, of course, if you know anything about Jeeps and Chrysler and Stellantis and Fiat, they've been notorious for using crappy parts for quite some time. Their quality's been going down, down, down. So, not only did it break after 6 weeks, but then it broke again after 2 days. Like, I warn people, don't buy those things. Don't waste your money on this garbage. Can you imagine? You got 6 weeks old, it broke. 2 days later, it broke. What help is there for it to actually last for years and years and years? Many more things will break long before then, right? I would have just said, take it back. I don't want it. I would have never bought one in the first place because I know the lack of quality the company has. Well, it's bad enough everything we buy is practically made in China, but now it looks like the Chinese are doing some revolutionary nuclear power plants. If you remember back in the day, after the atomic bombs, the United States was pretty much numero uno with atomic stuff. So all the nuke power plants around the world, almost all of them are based on the American design. Now the Chinese are working on a system that's radically different. It doesn't require water cooling. It's using molten salt, but the salt doesn't get radioactive. Now, if the Chinese perfect this, it might be that the rest of the world, instead of using our system after World War II, will start using the Chinese system. So everything will be made in China, even the nuclear power plants. Now, it's not out yet, but the plan is by 2025 to have one of these salt reactors up and running in the Gobi Desert. They use thorium, which doesn't need liquid cooling, and they make heat and transfer it through the use of liquid salt. Now, thorium is also more abundant than uranium, doesn't need to use uranium in these reactors. Hey, if they get this thing up and running and it works, it could be a big game changer. Yeah, there's a little bit of radioactivity left over. When it's depleted, they just put them in glass capsules, bury them in the ground. I don't care what anybody says, it's a relatively safe thing to do with them. Now, even in China, Chinese are working on fusion like everyone else, but if you ask me, fusion is kind of a pipe dream. They've been working on it since World War II. They got little bitty ones. Oh, they make more energy come out than we put in. Yeah, enough to run a toaster or something, right? And they're little small things. Even the big ones that they're experimenting with, they're saying, oh, well, stuff we thought were going to happen in a couple of years, maybe that'll be 10 years from now. Maybe. We need energy on the planet. We don't need a maybe. And maybe this new Chinese system will work. If it does, we'll probably be buying reactors from China too. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.